Hi, this is Hank Garrett. You're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson, welcome you back to TV Confidential, a radio talk show about television that is pleased to bring you more of the sounds of lost television along with our friend Phil Gries, founder and editor of Archival Television Audio. Archival Television Audio, the only extensive television audio archive in existence on the internet, featuring thousands of rare audio soundtracks from original television programs from the 50s, 60s, and 70s, which you can find at atvaudio.com, atvaudio.com. This segment with Phil Gries originally aired in September 2011. Phil, what do you have for us tonight?
What I've brought for our audience is a very, very special Jackie Gleason series of interviews. And these interviews were not scheduled initially. They took the place of a quiz show, You're in the Picture, which Gleason decided to co-produce and to host. Everyone thought it was a hoot. And when it went on the air on January 20th, 1961, it turned out to be a bomb. And Gleason was embarrassed and decided that this would not continue, even though they had taped a second show. And the following week, he appears to apologize, same night, same time, for creating a bomb. And I thought that was really a very peerless moment in television history, where a man of his stature would literally come on the air and admit to such a devastating bomb as he uses in terms of a term.
Let's hear a little bit of that clip from Jackie Gleason's famous apology that originally aired on CBS on the night of January 27th, 1961.
Jackie Gleason. In what will probably prove to be a very unusual program. And now, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Jackie Gleason. Oh, that's good coffee. Ladies and gentlemen, I think you'll notice that there is no panel tonight. As a matter of fact, there's nothing here except the orchestra and myself. I'd like to modify that. There is one other thing. We have a creed tonight. And the creed is honesty is the best policy. Now, this program could be the most fascinating you'll ever watch. I know this, that it's the first of its kind. Now, while I said that we didn't have a panel or anything like that, we do have a premise. And the premise is this. Last week we did a show called You're in the Picture. That laid, without a doubt, the biggest bomb.
Jackie Gleason's on-air apology for the disastrous premiere of You're in the Picture.
What's really interesting, I went back into my archives and I pulled a TV Guide editorial from February 11th, 1961. And I quote, "Honesty is the best, etc., etc. The repercussions from Jackie Gleason's by now famous clean breast of it were still bouncing around the business last week. Jackie's show You're in the Picture, in case you tuned in late, was a bust the first time out. The following week, Gleason turned it into a bonanza by strolling on stage, lowering his portly bulk into an armchair and confessing that the show was just about the biggest disaster since the Johnstown flood. Honesty is the best policy," he added. "It made the H-bomb look like a 2-inch salute. Why did the show bomb with all those great brains masterminding it?" And then Gleason quotes, "Show business is a strange and intangible endeavor." So even someone with the background and expertise of Jackie Gleason, who had been around the block many times at this point in 1961, missed the boat, and he was big enough to be able to go on the air and apologize for that bomb. I thought it was just a great moment, and what, in retrospect, turned out to be an opportunity to view Jackie Gleason the way we had never viewed him before, and which would be unique in terms of his on-TV ability to interview others informally, because for 13 additional weeks to cover the time that they originally had slotted for you in the picture, he did an interview, an informal live interview program, and some of the guests, including Art Carney, which I brought clips for the audience to listen to, were totally unique and just very precious and very, very personal.
Let's hear a clip of Jackie's interview with Art Carney, which originally aired on February 17th, 1961.
Art, I know I'm going to embarrass you by telling the audience this, but I have worked with Art for approximately 10 years. And I tell this to everyone who asks me. I think that Art Carney is the greatest sensitive of comedy that I have ever met. He knows every kind of comedy. He knows how to do Clem Finch. He knows how to do Reggie's father. He knows how to do Ed Norton. He knows how to do anyone that works with the poor soul. He knows every kind of comedy. And I have never felt safer or more secure on the stage in all my experience in show business than I do when I'm appearing with Art Carney.
Incidentally, this is an unrehearsed, what they call a conversation program, right?
Yeah.
Of which I have tried to stay away from because I don't, I'm not a good conversationalist. I don't talk.
No, I understand.
No, but just a minute, will you please? I mean, I am apt to be what you'd call an introvert by nature. When I was a kid, I just kept things within, and as I grew up,
there's no need.
Just keep quiet and let me get it. Oh, I'm going to get more conversation shows.
You're not going to get more coffee, I guarantee you that.
Jackie Gleason alongside Art Carney from the February 17th, 1961 edition of the Jackie Gleason Show, an impromptu talk show that was conceived out of necessity following the abrupt cancellation of the ill-conceived game show You're in the Picture, which aired for one night only in January 1961. And as you say, Phil, Jackie and Art worked subsequently after the Honeymooners. They did a TV movie called Izzy and Mo that I remember in the late 1980s. But again, right, as you say, this is a rare opportunity for the two of them more or less being themselves in conversation on television.
I know of no other clip, no other moment where, out of character, Gleason was able to, in front of a huge television audience, give praise back to Carney. It was special. It was a wonderful moment.
And of course, this wonderful moment is available if you want to listen to it in its entirety. You can find it through Phil at atvaudio.com. atvaudio.com. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. One more item: if you're starting a company, particularly one that is in an emerging market, you know that averting any sort of legal dispute is crucial to your business plan. Our friends at Tectonic Law offer an array of services that can help you avoid and preempt future litigation while also developing and protecting your intellectual property and intangible assets. Tectonic Law serves the needs of a host of emerging industries throughout California and beyond, including industrial designers, beverage makers, artists, farmers, retail stores, health practitioners, wellness experts, cosmetics manufacturers, nonprofit organizations, innovators in sustainable practices, and libraries. Go to tectoniclaw.com to learn more about how Tectonic Law can help your business thrive. tectoniclaw.com. Rock solid representation for groundbreaking industries.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call Karen Strain at 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
Hi, this is Paul Dooley. You're listening to TV Confidential. Good luck.
Jackie Gleason.
Jackie Gleason, the talk show, was a series that came about accidentally following the demise of You're in the Picture, the disastrous game show that CBS and Gleason aborted after one broadcast. In its place, for the first few weeks of 1961, Jackie Gleason conducted a series of live interviews with such friends and colleagues as Art Carney. And of course, Art Carney co-starred with Jackie Gleason on The Honeymooners. This next clip that you brought for us tonight, Phil, features another, I guess she would be a soon-to-be co-star with Jackie Gleason on The Honeymooners.
Sheila McCrae would subsequently take the role that Audrey Meadows had for many, many years as Alice. But prior to that happening, she and her husband Gordon McCrae, they appeared on the February 24th show, and it's a wonderful moment to listen to both Gordon and Sheila with Gleason.
And we'll listen to that right now.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce two people who I think have reached the epitome of family entertainment. I will explain more about that in a moment. Right now, I would like to introduce Gordon and Sheila McCrae. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Gordon and Sheila McCrae do, without a doubt, one of the most unusual impersonations, two of the most unusual impersonations I've ever heard. They do Perry Como and Dinah Shore appearing on the same television show together. Now, that really is unusual, and I think you're going to enjoy it. May I introduce Gordon and Sheila McCrae doing Perry Como and Dinah Shore.
Say, sing it, honey.
What you would never say. But 10 to 1, she'll say something.
Wonderful. Sit down, honey. Sit down, honey. It's time to show. Gosh, it is so wonderful being here with Terry. And you know what I was thinking? The funny things he'll do, like fall asleep on you. Then he'll wake up and do something wonderful. But tonight, I was thinking that Perry and I would sing those wonderful songs that rhythm and blues. Oh, Perry, honey, 50 million fans are waiting for me.
Oh, you want a shave or a haircut?
Sheila McCrae and her husband Gordon McCrae from the February 24th, 1961 edition of the Jackie Gleason show. Of course, the interesting thing about this particular Jackie Gleason show is that the format was sort of evolving week to week because, as we mentioned earlier in our conversation, Phil, it started off as You're in the Picture, but then it changed by necessity when he found out that it wasn't working. And it was sort of a combination of talk show and variety show.
Right. To put the Gordon and Sheila McCrae appearance with Gleason on February 24th into some kind of time frame, the interview broadcasts certainly evolved, and they evolved from week to week. After the debacle on January 20th, You're in the Picture, the following week, January 27th, Gleason comes back and does the apology show. There's still no format in mind as to what they're going to do. The following week, February 3rd, Gleason comes back and he is again solo, and his guest is a chimpanzee, and that was it. They still were without a format. Then they decide to do this interview format for the rest of the series. And on the 10th, originally Mickey Rooney was scheduled to appear. Last second he couldn't make it, so Jack Haley came on, and Jack Haley became the first guest on this series of interview shows, followed by Art Carney, and we've just heard a little clip from Art Carney, February 17th, followed by Gordon and Sheila McCraes. And when Gordon and Sheila were on, for the first time, you had a little bit of a variety moment, so that they were able to do a little bit of their nightclub act.
And again, it's just one of those things that, I mean, at a necessity. Of course, if this were done today, they would have canceled. They would have canceled the show after 1 week, 2 weeks. They would have put something else on. Whether they had something else in the works at the time, I don't know, or whether it's simply because Gleason was such an icon, out of respect, they let him continue with the 13-week time slot. But again, it was in retrospect, it was sort of a happy accident, because he was sort of Gleason was able to rely on his skills as a performer and somehow make something work out of what was obviously a debacle.
Absolutely, and as a matter of fact, the show was abruptly canceled because after the last broadcast on March 24th, another show I do have recorded with George Jessel and Rudy Valley, the scuttle is that CBS was livid at Gleason because they had invested so much money also in the program. And they already had a second "You're in the Picture" in the can, which never aired. And I think they just needed to finalize the series of interview shows. And I think you're right. If this happened today, there's no one of his stature where he would have been able to go on live and take up 2.5 months of impromptu half-hour programming.
Before we move on, we should explain the reference to the Jackie Gleason coffee.
You notice how often that comes up, and the Jackie Gleason coffee for us old timers relates to his chock full of booze, and he would have his favorite drink in the guise of coffee. So they were drinking on the set.
And as he said in the clip that we just played, there is more proof in that coffee than you realize.
That's right. That's right. It's always an in joke. And, of course, listening today or watching today, if one has a few opportunities to see any of this material, some of it can be viewed at the Paley Center for Media. That they do have one show, which is the You're in the Picture. If anyone ever has an opportunity, L.A. or in New York, you can see that there. The chock full of booze, the coffee, it typically is always mentioned.
Phil Gries is with us for a special encore presentation of the sounds of lost television that looks back at the short-lived CBS primetime talk show that Jackie Gleason hosted in February and March of 1961, a show born out of necessity following the disastrous one-night-only broadcast of You're in the Picture. We'll take a quick time out. We'll play another clip with Phil from the Jackie Gleason talk show as part of the Sounds of Lost Television when we come back here on TV Confidential.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Are you being audited or investigated? Has the IRS sent you a letter demanding payment? You may not owe what they claim. Make this free call to the tax doctor now. Let them negotiate with the IRS on your behalf.
800-239-0201. 800-239-0201. That's 800-239-0201.